Stock of what our markets did yesterday. Quite a bit of push and pull and a tug of war, really, in between earnings reactions. So, while you did have Bajaj Auto stage a recovery, HDFC Bank reacted very positively to its numbers. But unfortunately, that was not quite the case with Kotak or Tata Consumer for that matter. Net result, we knocked off about 160 points on the index. It's getting a little choppy off late, although still a very narrow band. It's not hugely volatile, but volatile regardless. So what looked like a bit of a tempered in the green kind of start at the back of very strong a handover from global markets that didn't quite sustain itself. And we continue to hover sub that 25K mark for ourselves. But what about the global cues this morning? As I look at it, Asia continues to be a bit of a mixed bag, while Hong Kong and China both are holding out in the green. Periphery markets, Japan, Australia have seen a bit of a knockoff. For US equity markets, of course, while the futures are indicating a steady move and they're little changed, but it wasn't quite the same for the Dow, for instance. That knocked off about almost 350 points overnight, and S&P as well was marginally soft. Having said that, the Nasdaq continues its uproll, but that was thanks to single-handedly Nvidia, which really propelled the Nasdaq move higher, continues to lap on further on the market cap and beating past many countries' GDP as well. But yeah, the yield has risen once again above that 4.1% mark. It's at a July high. And that's where the state of the global markets are, because they too have sort of gone a little bit sideways, much like our markets.
See, Aisha, there is nothing new in terms of what the positioning was on Monday versus Tuesday, excepting the fact that the earning disappointment is getting more and more pronounced. That is the only line you would like to add. The global setup is absolutely impeccable. We may look at a weak handover, we may look at one bad day. Bottom line here is that globally, the bearish narrative is not biting global markets. Similarly, locally, the bullish narrative seems to be missing. So India is underperforming for a variety of factors which we would discuss, and those are local factors and not global factors. The good bit for us is that globally strength is intact. The bad news is that locally we are getting jammed because of growth, earning, market commentary, flows and large IPOs. So why are we underperforming? Earnings are bad. Reliance was poor. Nestle, nothing great. Tata Consumer, nothing great. HDFC Bank, no large upgrades. FI selling, it continues, and whether it is Vari, whether it is Hyundai, whether it is Swiggy, these large IPOs are again sucking out liquidity. So there are a lot of local factors that play which are unique to India, and that in a sense is really pushing the market down, or at least let me put it this way, for Indian markets, it's not the Nifty, it is the mood and the momentum which has reversed.
Yeah, and Nikunj, you did highlight all of those factors that are unique to our own markets, the earnings, the FII selling and liquidity and IPOs, but yet day after day we're seeing these small cuts, 1%, 2% at the max. Do you think that much, I don't know if I should say awaited, but the fall in the market or that real crack in the market, which will be in the other direction, is round the corner sometime soon?
Shravan, I still feel that we are in the time pass little market. Yeah. Friday we were up little, Monday we were down little. So that time pass for the Nifty continues, and I think that will continue. I think it will continue. Why? Because there is global strength. You may want to change your view if you see something changing globally. As of now, see, facts, opinion is based on facts, and if facts change, opinion will change. But as of today, I think the opinion which I'm gathering from a lot of market men is that it's not a market where you want to trade, it's not a market where you want to invest. It's a market where you simply want to watch it out, because this market is not going to give you a pronounced direction. See, if there's momentum on the downside, there's money to be made by going short. If there's momentum on the upside, there's money to be made on the long side, but there is no momentum. This time pass little market where 100 points up, 200 points down, 150 points up. It's like one step forward, half a step back, half a step forward, one step back. You're actually jumping in the same place. Let's look at the 15-day chart for the Nifty, not 1 month, because 1 month, of course, collateral damage has been higher. You would look back and say, okay, hello, nothing. It's actually the hello moment when nothing is happening. See, What do we have? 1 month is larger, but 15-day, because 1 month mein correction aa gaya tha, 15-day I think is just going to be this, with all this brilliant analysis we've done of FNO, global Qs, FIs, China, kya ho raha hai, dekho, see. The analysis is just having time pass action.
And the proof is out there in the numbers for sure. But yeah, having said that, the VIX of late did see that little bit of a spike up of about almost 6%. It's back at the 13.7 mark. So yeah, sure enough, the volatility is there, but again, in a narrow band, and we are really beating around the bush, or as Nikun says, passing time. But that said, while the earnings disappointment, the FII sell-off, the liquidity in IPOs continues, it's going to be that big one, Hyundai. It finally lists. And yeah, everyone just talking about what the listing is going to be, whether there's going to be any discount, premium, is it going to open flattish. At a 10% discount, it's still going to command a market cap of 1.4 lakh crores. That's if it lists at a discount to its issue price. At a 10% premium, it's still going to be at 1.8 lakh crore rupees of market cap. At a 20% premium, it's going to be at about 1.9. So yeah, a giant getting created today.
Yeah, it's great to see India's second largest auto company which is getting listed. And it's certainly good that, now investors will have more options. Right now, customers had more options. Now, investors will have more options. But will it be a dhamakedar listing which will really brighten up the screen? The answer to that may well be no. I'm pretty confident that it's not going to be a big bang listing. And I'm reasonably confident that as the time will pass, Hyundai would be much higher than where, if market conditions are decent and if the company delivers, the stock, the path of least resistance for Hyundai stock 12 months from now, 18 months from now, I think is higher. Let's look at the IPO response. The IPO response was not great. They just got bailed out by institutional investors, so the retail appetite is just not missing. Unfortunately, they are going public at a time when there is a cyclical slowdown in the car industry, which is that car sales are not strong. So that in a sense is going to also take the sheen away in terms of near momentum. But then what happens in the medium term? When I say medium term, 12 months to 18 months, there is a lot of tailwind for Hyundai. They have advantage of style, advantage of margins, and they do have a unique positioning in terms of their portfolio offering what they have. So on that score, I think Hyundai would certainly benefit. And valuations are lower than Maruti if I again have to do that good old comparison. But I sincerely feel that for Hyundai, I think it's not going to be a ride which will take the stock in fifth gear. It's going to be a gradual climb up with each passing quarter. This is a stock where you can compound your wealth rather than getting any instant gratification. So this is not the one for instant gratification. I don't expect a big bang listing, but looking at the valuations, looking at what they have to offer, where the price is, and if they deliver for 2 or 3 quarters, if they're able to inch up their margins, it could outperform the rest of the auto pack. So the listing may be a talked about listing, but the listing is unlikely to be an exciting listing purely from the standpoint of that IPO dhamaka. That is not going to be there. So it will attract a lot of attention. It will occupy a lot of mind space, but it will keep everyone guessing as to what is the right price for anyone to buy. See, I'm very confident it will not be a dhamakedar listing. And I'm also very confident that 12 to 18 months from now, the path of least resistance from Hyundai is higher.
Yeah, okay.
There comes a time when your heart calls for you to arise. Plant your feet solid into the ground. Decide your own limits. And then break right through them. Become something more. It's my time to rise.